called him the old hobo Joe. Came to send to me for your...
Hey everybody, this is Sam. Welcome back to another episode on my channel called Retire Inspired. I hope that you're having a great day today. I'm having a wonderful day. Today I'm going to be doing another unboxing. I got two more, actually it's two unboxings, so you get two for the price of one, which if you get what you paid for on this show because it's free. But these are both the original Xbox consoles, and I'm going to be going through them, opening them up, and making any repairs that are needed so that I can resell them on eBay. If you're new to my channel is about retirement and my retirement experiences. And one of the things that I'm doing in retirement is I'm selling on eBay. And part of my selling experience, I buy broken consoles off of eBay that are being sold for parts or repair only. And I usually get them at a very low price. And as I go through them, I'll show you, I'll let you know exactly what I paid for them. But I usually don't pay more than about $25 to $30 for a console that is including the shipping. So once I get the console working and going properly, then I will put it back together and clean it up and list it with some controllers and then list it on eBay and sell it for about $140. So come along with me on my journey today, and you'll be able to watch me open up these two consoles and get them ready to sell on eBay. If you're not yet retired, or if you're thinking about retirement in the future, or if you're already retired and you're kind of wondering, you know, what can I do in retirement that can keep me busy, this is one of those things that you can do that will really keep you busy. I stay busier than I really want to be sometimes because I spend time working on these consoles that I could be listing. I spend time making video content that I could be listing and selling on eBay, but I just enjoy doing these things, so I don't want to be a one-horse show, you know, what they call a one-pony show. I want to have multiple things that I'm doing all at one time just because, you know, these are things that I enjoy. And if you enjoy this content, be sure and give me a like and a thumbs up. And also, if you're not subscribed yet, please consider subscribing to my channel. I would love to have you as a subscriber, and also if you are a subscriber, make sure that you hit that notification bell so that you are notified when I put up a new video. So let's go ahead and get into it. Before I get started with my unboxing, I wanted to show you something that I am doing. These, if you've been watching my videos for any period of time, you have noticed that I had NES consoles on the shelf behind me, and they were yellow. Well, I took those yellow consoles and I put them out in the sun with some peroxide, and now I got new covers for them. And we'll be putting them back together, and I'll be bundling some new consoles for NES. So I have 1, 2, 3, and 4 consoles that I need to put together and get ready to list on eBay with bundles. And I've got more controllers. I also retrobrited the controllers, so I'm going to put these together and I'm going to bundle them up. If you're interested, there's a link to my channel in the description below, and if you're interested, I have 3 completed bundles that I've already put together of NES, so you can go down to that link and click on it, find those bundles, and if you're interested, make a purchase. So that's one of the things that I'm working on, getting these NES bundles ready so that I can be ready for fourth quarter and get them out the door. Alright, let's get started with this unboxing. I paid $55 for this console plus $19.28 for shipping. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is a console. It should be a console. and a controller. And this console is supposed to work. Looks like they double boxed it, which is nice, but not necessary for something like this. So let's get this other box out of here. Oh, so much foam that I'm going to have to pick up. Let's see if I can sweep that off into the trash. Okay, now we'll go into the second box. I do appreciate their effort. I'm not going to criticize them because I have seen poor examples of boxing that didn't turn out so well. And this seems like it's going to be pretty good. Dang, they really did pack it. Alright, so this is good because I've got a lot of packing material that I can use later. Let's see what all we have here. This is one controller, and this is an original controller, and it has the breakaway cord that goes with it, which is a good thing. I hope this controller works okay. Looks like it's in pretty good condition, just needs a little bit of cleaning up. It's missing the pads on the top of the controller sticks. It's missing the rubber pad, and this controller stick is actually broken on the edge, so I may have to replace that one. Okay, we've got cords here. Alright, this is the AV cable and the power cord, so that's good. A lot of packing material on this one. Good job on the packing, but maybe maybe we just went a little bit too far with this one. I don't know. Alright, let's get that out of the way. And now we have our console. I hear some rattling around in here. Now this one is supposed to be working. I believe it is supposed to be working. Looks like the front is nice and clean. The top is pretty good, in pretty good condition. Looks like the jewel is clean and in good condition. The case doesn't seem to have any broken parts on it, and the best part about it is it hasn't been gone into. You can tell because there are no holes in these stickers, so it apparently nobody has ever been into this one. So that is console number 1. Now we will go to unboxing console number 2. Okay, so on that first console it said that it runs a little loud, but it works. According to the description in the description bar, it works fine, and so we'll test it in just a second and see if it works. But this one was sold for parts for $22 and $12.50 or something like that for shipping, and it is sold as being untested. So we'll open this one, see what it looks like. Sometimes people sell game consoles as untested when they know that they just don't work. So so I bought those before that they said were untested, but they actually they had tested them, but they knew that they just didn't work and they didn't want to get a return on it, so they didn't list it as tested. But this one doesn't look like, from the pictures I saw, I may be wrong, but I don't think it has been gone into either. So They did a pretty good job packing this one. This is about how I pack mine, with bubble wrap and filler paper. So let me get this out of here and get this box out of the way. So I'll be reusing this bubble wrap in these boxes for other consoles when I sell. I may even use them for these same consoles when they sell, if they work. Hopefully they will. They did do a really good job packing this one. Smells like cigarette smoke. But the front of it looks pretty good. It'll clean up. The top of it looks pretty good. The jewel is in pretty good shape. And the back is looking pretty good. Look, don't see any breaks or tears or anything with the back of it. And on the underside of it, this is one thing that I'm looking at now when I'm buying consoles. I won't buy them if they've been opened before. This one doesn't appear to be open. None of the seals are broken, so that's a good thing. So let's test it out and see if they work. We know the first one says it works. The second one is supposed to be untested, so we'll find out. Okay, I've moved over to my testing station, and I will test out this second one that I bought, the one that I paid $22 for, and we'll see if it works. Let's turn it on. So far, so good. And it is a little bit loud. So what I may end up doing is opening it up and replacing the thermal paste inside. Usually that will help them to run a little bit smoother. So it probably needs another clock capacitor also. Let's open it up. If this works, that'll be a really good thing. Sounds like it's starting up. I can hear it running inside. And look at that.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Well, that is just awesome. So this console is working great. I'm not going to take it apart, although I'd like to take it apart and clean the inside of it just to make sure it's nice and clean inside. I just don't want to open it up. I think it'll sell easier if I just list it without it being open.
Move in. Alpha 2, this is Rainbow 6. President Mbelu doesn't have much time. Get to the exit on the first floor.
Okay, people. Let's get the job done.
Alright, so this one is working great. I don't have any issues at all, so I'm going to go ahead and get it ready, cleaned up, and ready to be listed. So I've got $34 invested in that console completely, with $22 and then $12 for shipping, is $34 totally invested. And I will be listing it for $145 with 10% off, so it'll actually sell for $135 with 3 games. So whoever gets that is going to get a pretty good deal, and I will also make a little bit of money on it. So this is the second console. I've got it all set up. I've got another controller hooked up to it, and we're going to give it a try and see if it works. We should be seeing something. Okay, there we go. Something's wrong here. Let's open it up. Let's throw in Halo. I don't like this. It's not reading. This disc is not reading. Okay, it is starting up. So this appears to be a good candidate for me to take apart and replace the thermal paste, and I'll be able to show you how I do that. And I can go through the disk drive and clean it up and make sure that it is working okay. Alright, let's get started taking this one apart and see if we can't replace the thermal paste, get that sound taken care of. I think this is a number 10 bit that you have to use on here. So there's a one right here that you have to bust through to get. A lot of people peel these up and put them back, but I'm not going to do that with this one. There's the other one. And then you have to peel up these feet on the corners to get these out. You don't want to peel the whole thing up, because if you do, then you have to glue it all back down once you reassemble it. We'll turn it over, take the cover off, make sure we've got all the screws. So this cover should just come straight off. Stand up. There we go. See what it looks like underneath. Looks pretty good. Pretty clean. Alright. Then you take this ribbon cable off the back of the hard drive, and this is the power cord, the power cable. Take that off. Sometimes I take my screwdriver and pull that. Makes it easier to come off. And you'll need a smaller bit to remove these other, this screw right here in the middle holds it, and then there's one there and one right here. So you take these out. Now you can take out the hard drive. But I'm curious to find out what was rattling around in here. There's something rattling around, and I think I know what it is. This screw. I think this came out, yep, it came out of the side that holds in the hard drive. That's odd that it came out. So that goes in there. Now we have one screw right here that we can take out. And another screw. You'll need the extender. Yeah, look how dirty dusty that thing is. Dirty and dusty. That might explain why the CD is having so much trouble operating. All that dust in there. Oh my goodness. Very dusty. So let's do first things first. Let's take the board out, clean it up, get that cable out. I'm gonna knock that dust off of there. I'm gonna take it outside and blow my air gun on it and get all the dust, as much dust as I can off of it before I start going into the CPU and replacing the thermal paste. This is the power that goes to the board, to the motherboard. Take that off, unhook this. This one, this is for the front controller ports. Unhook the fan. Now it's ready to take out the screws. But first, before I do that, let me take it outside and blow it real quick. Okay, so I blew it off, got it as clean as I could. Let's get into it. So first we're going to take the board out, and we'll need to take all these screws . That should be all of them. Alright, now we can pull the motherboard out. And there's that other screw that goes on the hard drive. Put that back in. Alright, that's still got a lot of dust. If you look real close at the board here, you can see that there's a lot of corrosion around where the clock capacitor is. This is a point of failure on these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that clock capacitor, get it on out of there, because it's nothing but trouble. So let's see which one that one is. That's this guy right here. Now I would say one thing, these capacitors are not easy to take off and put back on. Use my soldering iron to pull it the rest of the way out. There we go. So we've got the new clock capacitor here. It's a 1 farad 2.7 volt. Okay, so I got that clock capacitor replaced. Now all I need to do is just clean that up with a little IPA. And clean up that other side real good. Made a little bit of a mess in there. Alright, now let's open up this. Let's see, how does that come off? This lifts up, I know that, and you have to kind of pry it away. There we go. And that just came right off. Now let's see how this one comes off. How to get this one off. There you go. That's both of them, and I didn't break either one of them. Good job. Now this one is a little bit harder to get loose. Sometimes you have to put a little bit of heat on them. There we go. Alright, so we got that off of both of them. And I like to take Goo Gone to get that thermal paste off. It works brilliantly. Thermal paste is quite dry. And looking pretty rough. See how nicely that cleans up. And that one cleans up pretty nice as well. Goo Gone works wonders for removing old thermal paste, and it cleans it up so well. About a drop of thermal paste left on this board. Alright, let's see if we can replace this thermal paste now. Put a little bit on here. And then a little bit more on here. Okay. Now I should probably clean this up a little bit while I'm in here. Put this thing back on here. Put this guy back on here. I think it was this way. It was that way. And we'll just clamp it down. Boom. And this one was this way. Let's try this again. Oh, it goes this way. There we go. Alright, so we have successfully replaced I don't like the look of these capacitors. They look like they're bulging a little bit. I don't want to replace them. Clean up that board. I think I'm going to have to replace these capacitors. I just don't like the way that they look. 6.3 volt, 3300 farad. And that's what we've got right here. I'm just going to place these three right here. Don't want to do it, but I need to. Gotta get this thing warmed up again. Come on. That's the first one. That's the second one. And that's the third one. Alright, so let's test these. They got to be good, because the thing wouldn't be working if they weren't, right? So we'll put the negative to the negative, positive to the positive. And that one's good. Shouldn't be reading that high though. Should only be 3300 UF microfarad. 4862, that one's high. So these were just on the verge of going bad. $53.44. See, these should only be reading 3300 microfarad. So let's get our new capacitors. I might have got lucky and left myself some holes on these. That one did. So we got one in. Number one. Looks like we got it all the way in. Let's clip these off just a little bit so they will be easier. Make sure you get the polarity correct. Negative with negative, positive with positive. Okay, got it in the holes. Let's heat up this side. Alright, so we've got two of the capacitors changed. We've got this one and this one. Now we just have one more to do. I ought to clean that up before I put that in there. Make sure and get that polarity correct. We got it through. Alright, good deal. Now we'll bend that over. Now let's just put our solder in, and we will be done with the capacitors. Flux on here. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. And that's good. Alright, so we'll clip these ends off. Make it look nice. Oops. And that's it. So we have clean up my hands a little bit too while I'm at it. And let's get all this extra flux off the board. Clean it up. So we have replaced these three capacitors, and we have replaced the clock capacitor. So and we have put new thermal paste in, so our motherboard is done. Let's transfer our attention to this DVD drive. So let's open it up. Already got a lot of dirt and dust on the outside of it. I can only imagine what the inside of it's going to look like. Oh boy, I see now what the problem is. It's got a lot of junk in there. Let's open it up. And let's get started cleaning. My goodness. Dirty. Look at all that. I don't know what kind of environment this thing was in, but it was in a dirty place apparently. Let's put a little bit of this silicone compound, dielectric compound on here. Get that evenly distributed. Now, let's clean this lens. Clean the outside of that. Look at that. How dirty that is. Look at that. I'm going to come back with some more. Clean this lens one more time. Clean all that. Looks like it's clean underneath pretty good. See if that goes a little smoother now. Oh, look at that. Look at all that. Dirty, 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 dirty. Let's clean in there as much as we can get. See if that looks any better. Put a little bit of that grease on these rails too. See if that helps. Alright, let's put it back together and see if we did any good. Alright, so let's get our motherboard back out. Let's get our hard drive. First things first, we'll put our motherboard in. Make sure and plug that fan back in, because if you don't plug the fan back in, you can burn your stuff up pretty bad. Plug your controller ports back in. And your power point back in. Alright, now we're gonna get started with our screws. Stuff like this are easy fixes, so it's not something that I would have been able to do a few years ago, though, because as I mentioned before in my previous videos, I didn't even know how to solder a year ago. But now, not only can I solder, but I have a skill and I'm doing something that I'm really enjoying in retirement. Alright, is that all the screws? I do believe it is. Okay, so let's get our ribbon cables. One thing about this one, it has two different size plugs, and you know you've got the wrong plug if you're not filling up all the spaces there. And this one, you're always going to use the one that is closest to the short end. Very dirty. So plug that one in. Now we're ready to get our disk drive. This guy right here. Now I gotta find the stand. Here's the stand that it goes into. Get it out of the way. Again, I'm still cleaning stuff up. This thing was really dirty inside. Very dirty. Alright, so we're gonna turn this around, let you guys see how I'm hooking it up. The little cord goes on the little hole. Surprise, surprise. And the big cord goes in the big hole. Alright. And then we just set it down into the machine, and you gotta kind of finagle it a little bit to get it to go just perfect. And there you go. Now it's in there just perfect. And here's the hard drive where I put the screws back in it. Blow that out just a minute. Alright, so we're gonna take this power cord, put it back through here, and you gotta seat this exactly right in here to get it to go all the way down. And you just run these cords through here. And you turn it around so you can see. Take this, put it right in there. And then this cord here, this ribbon cable, goes like this. See how it just kind of lays flat? And plug it in. Oops. There we go. So now that is in there, and you just tuck that back in there. I'm not putting the screws back in yet. I'm not going to put it back together until I test it. So let's go over to the testing table and test it out. Alright, so what I ended up doing is I went into the disk drive and I replaced this little rubber band thing that goes inside of it. This is what moves the wheel inside. It's just a piece of rubber, and this is a common failure in these. So I got a new one in here, and our belt, a rubber belt that they put in there, and we'll see if it works. Alright, so let's see if this works. Yep, it works great. So the hard drive is still making a lot of noise. Can't do nothing about that, but I've got the drive working without any issues, and it plays games. So I've got another working Xbox, and we'll be able to get this listed and put it on my store. Probably get it on there today. That is loud. It makes a lot of noise. I don't guess there's any way to make it not do that, but
EA Sports. It's in the game.
alright, so that works. Let me get that game out of there. And I'm going to put everything back together and get it listed. Well, I hope that you enjoyed my video today. I had a real good time making it, and it was a first for me on a couple of items. First, I replaced the clock capacitor that is known for leaking on the old Xboxes, the original Xboxes. And then I saw that the capacitors there's another set of capacitors, the 3 capacitors that I showed you on there that were bulging, and I tested them. They tested really high, so they were about to go bad, so I went ahead and replaced them. Those are the ones that usually deal with the power. So that's something that goes bad on the Xbox quite often, are those capacitors and that clock capacitor that I replaced. And those are not always easy to replace. You have to kind of learn how to do that. It's not an easy job. And that was the first time ever that I have replaced the thermal paste in one of these older Xboxes. I have replaced the thermal paste in some Xbox 360s before, but that was the first time that I've ever done one on one of the original Xboxes. You got to be real careful with those plastic straps that hold them down, because if you're not very careful, you'll break one. So I've watched others do it, and so I felt confident enough to do it myself. And then the last thing I did was replace the rubber band that goes on the drive for the DVD part of it. And when I did that, now the drive works real well, and it opens and closes without any issues. So those are some things that I was able to fix with that Xbox. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get rid of the sound that the hard drive was making. It makes a pretty loud sound. So I wasn't able to get rid of that sound, but I was able to make sure that this Xbox is going to be working for many years to come for whoever buys it. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I really had a good time making it. It was a lot of work, but I had a good time doing the work, and I also had a good time documenting it with the video. And I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure and give me a thumbs up and a like. And if you're not yet a subscriber to my channel, please consider subscribing to my channel. I can use all the new subscribers that I can get, and if you are a subscriber, make sure you hit that notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I put up a new video. So with that being said, I am ready to list this Xbox, and it's in good condition, and I feel real comfortable about sending it out and letting someone own it and use it. And I think it'll be running for many years to come, and I'm really proud of the work that I did on that. I hope you enjoyed it too, and I hope you can come back and join me on the next one. So I will see you next time. Love you guys, and bye-bye.